The wolf Zeek swallows a cloud. The morning the wolf Zeek swallowed a cloud, his face turned grey and his hair white, and he rose high above the treetops and began sailing west. "I don't think I'm cut out for this," he said unhappily as a bird flew through him. "My feet enjoy the feel of the earth too much." He was worried because he had been invited for dinner at Emma Zeek's house and he didn't want to be late. Emma was a proud wolf who cooked days in advance for special dinners, so it was especially important for the wolf Zeek to be prompt. The wolf Zeek couldn't steer the cloud he swallowed, and wondered if it would ever land. He was not a wolf Zeek with fondness for heights, so when he swallowed a cloud, he felt a bit queasy. He drifted over to Teresa Tidrick's house where he found her doing her 50 push-ups. She was a tremblebug who lived high in the bark of a wild sycamore tree, so needed to stay in shape. At 7,300 feet, sap beetles were plentiful, juicy and sweet, perfect for a mighty appetite such as herbs. "Why, oh wolf Zeek," cried Teresa as he hovered near her door, "you have become plump and grey, and I have never, ever known you to float through the air. Usually, you leap, hop, and skedaddle up my tree to visit me." "I know," said the wolf Zeek unhappily. "It was my great misfortune to have swallowed a cloud early this morning. I don't know where I'm heading, or when I land, and it's sure to be a dark day." "Well, I believe," said Teresa practically, "the cloud in your belly is making you act and feel like a cloud and affecting the mood of everyone around you." True enough, when the wolf Zeek looked down and saw all the woodland creatures moping about, shuffling along or getting into fights. "I guess I'd better go somewhere else," he said miserably. Now, as you know, usually, the wolf Zeek was a light-hearted skylarking animal skipping about, singing or playing one of his 72 violins. He would offer freely his foolproof Zeek wisdom to any feature who needed it. And always around 4:30 in the afternoon, he would begin whipping up a delicious banana and rhubarb crisps, or some apple soup topped with orange rind and ginger butter, for any friend who stopped by after dusk to chat. Most folks would find themselves grinning at the mere sight of the wolf Zeek. There was no doubt that being a cloud was contrary to the nature of the wolf Zeek. Teresa the tremblebug was beginning to feel a little testy. So she hastily bid farewell to the wolf Zeek, who continued to wander in a westerly direction. So he had a bad spell, caught in the afterdraft of a helicopter where he spread so thin he nearly disappeared, coughing and spitting up the fumes. How strange to be so light and yet so somber, the wolf Zeek thought to himself grimly. "Oh wolf Zeek," he said, for speaking out loud to himself had helped him through many a bad spot in his past. What would great-grandfather Zeek be doing in a spot like this? He recalled the story of his great-grandfather told him about the time he'd been practicing goose and swan dives, and was caught in the ferocious current of the Stony Hill River. Great-grandfather just let his wolf body flow with the current wave until he wound up safely on shore a few hundred miles away from his home. He gritted his teeth, until he realized, clouds don't have teeth. He tried heading north where most clouds belong until he realized clouds are pushed along by wind. When no wind blew, the wolf Zeek hunched up in the air for feeling sorry for himself, angry at the cloud which had lodged itself in his belly, and worried about missing Emma Zeek's dinner. The sorrier, angrier, and more worried he grew, the more like a cloud he grew. Other clouds began pushing toward him and bumped, bullied, shoved, rolled, and humped smack bam right into the wolf Zeek. "Hey bud," cried the wolf Zeek. "What do you think you're doing?" A mean tough-looking cloud said, "You're talking to me." Another cloud jeered, "What kind of cloud are you anyway?" All the clouds began pushing and shoving until the wolf Zeek, well, he was fit to burst. And burst he did, Hurdy-gurdy, the wolf Zeek split into a million raindrops and was falling, kerplop. He right down to earth in Emma's garden, where she was picking a few tomatoes for her famous specially fresh scarlet salad. This salad contains beets, tomatoes, radishes, rhubarb, apples, strawberries, rose petals and other assorted fruits and vegetables. Emma, known for the calm way about her, looked with no surprise at the wolf Zeek, who had landed amidst a bunch of cabbages. "Did you see that storm that just whipped through? That was a doodle." "But you're looking thin, oh wolf Zeek," Emma said concernedly, peering over her fancy spectacles. After giving him a kiss on the cheek, she said, "Come on in for some creamy almond corn soup and that'll set you straight. Then we can exchange recipes and chat with my other guest this evening, Mr. Wooflebrum." Mr. Wooflebrum was a lily farmer who lived right up the road. He was famous for his mighty appetite and was especially partial to Emma's creamy soups. He had only one fear in the world: he was a bit scared of heights, so he wore a large hat to avoid looking at the sky. So the evening went well until dessert. At first, both guests declined her famous buttercream cloud cake, which looked and tasted just like a cloud. "What?" exclaimed Emma. "No dessert? Unheard of in his house." Mr. Wooflebrum claimed to be absolutely stuffed to the chin, but the wolf Zeek bravely took a spoon in hand to try the delectable confection. For just a moment, the wolf Zeek had a spell of dizziness. Quite relieved to be still on solid earth, the wolf Zeek praised their talented hostess by reciting his finest poetry in her honor. Emma Zeek was listening so intently, she polished off the whole buttercream cloud cake, and that night, she had wonderful dreams of flying between the stars.